King Eurystheus had one final labor for Heracles. This task was unlike any other he had faced before. It was a challenge that seemed insurmountable, even for a hero of Heracles' legendary strength and courage. Retrieve the golden apples of the Hesperides. These apples were not just any fruit. They were the epitome of divine power and beauty, coveted by gods and mortals alike. These were no ordinary apples. They were said to be the most beautiful and enchanting fruits in existence, glowing with an otherworldly light that could mesmerize anyone who gazed upon them. They shimmered with golden light, a light so pure and radiant that it seemed to come from the heavens themselves. The apples were not just beautiful, they were magical. They granted immortality to whoever ate them. This made them the most sought-after treasures in the world, for who wouldn't want to live forever? The apples were a gift from Gaia to Hera, queen of the gods. Hera treasured these apples. She kept them well guarded. They were a symbol of her power and divine favor. The Hesperides, nymphs of the evening, watched over the precious fruit. These nymphs were not just guardians. They were the daughters of Atlas, and their beauty was as captivating as the apples they protected. They were helped by Ladon, a fearsome 100-headed dragon. This monstrous creature was a formidable guardian, ensuring that no one could approach the apples without facing his wrath. No one had ever dared to steal from Hera. Could even Heracles succeed? The task seemed impossible, but Heracles was determined. He knew that this final labor would test not just his strength, but his wit and resolve as well. The fate of his quest hung in the balance, and the world watched with bated breath. The golden apples were not just fruit. They were treasures of immense value, coveted by gods and mortals alike. They were symbols of power, fertility, and immortality. These apples were believed to grant eternal youth and divine favor to those who possessed them. They represented the bounty of the earth and the blessings of the gods. The golden apples were a testament to the divine abundance and prosperity bestowed upon the world. Stealing them would be a direct challenge to Hera's authority. Hera, the queen of the gods, guarded these apples fiercely, knowing their power and significance. These apples were said to have been grown from a tree that sprang up where Zeus and Hera were married. This sacred tree was a symbol of their union and divine love. This made them even more special. The golden apples were not just ordinary fruit, they were imbued with the essence of the gods themselves. The tree was located in the Garden of the Hesperides, a hidden paradise in the far west. This garden was a place of eternal beauty and tranquility, untouched by time. No map showed the way. The location of the Garden of the Hesperides was a closely guarded secret, known only to a select few. Even finding the garden would be a challenge for Heracles. The journey to the garden was fraught with peril, requiring immense strength, courage, and determination. Heracles, known for his legendary labors, faced one of his greatest challenges in seeking these golden treasures. The path was treacherous, filled with obstacles and dangers that tested his resolve at every turn. But the reward was worth the risk, for the golden apples held the promise of immortality and divine favor, a prize that few could resist. Heracles set out, his club on his shoulder and his bow slung across his back. He journeyed far and wide. He crossed mountains and deserts. He sailed across stormy seas. He faced many dangers on his quest. He battled monstrous creatures and overcame treacherous obstacles. But he never lost sight of his goal. He would find the golden apples. He would succeed where all others had failed. Heracles needed information. He was on a quest, a journey that required knowledge beyond the mortal realm. The tasks ahead were daunting, and he knew he couldn't face them alone. He needed the wisdom of the ancients, the secrets of the gods. He sought out Nereus, the old man of the sea. Nereus knew many secrets, secrets that could guide Heracles on his path. The old man was a figure of legend, a being who had seen the rise and fall of many heroes. He was also a shapeshifter, difficult to catch and even harder to hold. Nereus could transform into any creature, any element, making him elusive and nearly impossible to pin down. But Heracles was determined. Heracles caught Nereus while he slept. It was a moment of vulnerability for the ancient sea god, a rare opportunity that Heracles seized with all his might. He knew that once Nereus awoke, the struggle would begin. He held him tight, even as the sea god changed into a lion, a serpent, and a raging fire. The battle was fierce, a test of Heracles' strength and resolve. Finally, Nereus gave in, recognizing the hero's unyielding spirit. He told Heracles to find Atlas. The advice was cryptic but crucial. Nereus knew that Atlas held the key to the next step in Heracles' journey. Atlas held the sky on his shoulders. He was a titan, a being of immense power and endurance. His burden was eternal, a punishment that also made him a guardian of hidden knowledge. He knew the location of the Garden of the Hesperides. This garden was no ordinary place. It was a realm of divine beauty and peril, guarded by nymphs and filled with treasures. Heracles' quest was far from over, but with Nereus' guidance, he had a new direction, a new hope. Section 5. The Earth Mother's Son. Heracles traveled to the land of the giant Antaeus. Antaeus was the son of Gaia, the Earth Mother. He challenged all who entered his domain. Antaeus was incredibly strong. Whenever he touched the earth, his mother gave him more strength. Heracles realized he couldn't defeat Antaeus by normal means. He lifted the giant from the ground. He held him aloft until Antaeus weakened and finally fell, defeated. Section 6. The Wisdom of the Titan. Heracles finally reached the edge of the world. He found Atlas holding up the heavens. Atlas was weary of his burden. He longed to be free. Heracles offered to hold the sky while Atlas retrieved the golden apples. Atlas agreed. He returned with the apples. He was reluctant to take up the sky again. He offered to deliver the apples himself. Heracles knew he had to trick Atlas. Section 7. The Weight of the World. Heracles pretended to agree to Atlas's offer. He asked Atlas to take back the sky for just a moment. He needed to adjust his cloak. Atlas, relieved, took back the weight of the heavens. Heracles quickly picked up the golden apples and continued his journey. He had the apples. He had completed the task. But his journey wasn't over yet. He had to return to Eurystheus. Section 8. Golden Success. Heracles returned to King Eurystheus, triumphant. He presented the king with the golden apples of the Hesperides. The king was astounded. He had never believed Heracles would succeed. Heracles had proven his strength, his cunning, and his unwavering determination. He had faced gods and monsters, giants and titans, and emerged victorious. He was the greatest hero of Greece. Section 9. A Hero's Reward. The golden apples were returned to the gods. Heracles had completed his 12 labors. He had atoned for his past sins. He was finally free from Eurystheus's control. But more importantly, he had become a legend. His stories would be told and retold. He would inspire generations to come. He would forever be remembered as the greatest hero of all. Heracles, the strongest man who ever lived.